this is the style inspiration, and this is what I created. Now let's go straight into how to make this bag. So guys, first things first is to cut out your pattern. You can use any fabric or pattern paper for your pattern drafting. So I cut out a fabric that is 13 inches by 13 inches. So it's actually a 13 inches square. The length is 13 inches and the width is 13 inches. So as you can see, I just folded it like this, like a triangle, and from this pointy end I am going to be measuring 12 inches downwards. So if you notice the way I'm measuring it, my hand is not moving from the top. It's just the 12 inches that I am marking that is moving. Okay, so when you want to measure your own, make sure you do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines like this, the way I'm doing like this. Then I'm going to use my scissors to cut it out. So please make sure it doesn't move while you are cutting it out. So when I'm done cutting it out, when I open my fabric, when I open my pattern paper, this is actually what it looks like. You see, we've gotten our shape like this. Now the next thing we're going to go ahead and do now is to remove the bottom part of the bag. So now from this open end, you're going to be measuring 6.5 inches. Measure it like this, and from this closed end you're going to be measuring 7.5 inches. So from this open end we have 6.5 inches, and from this open end we have, from this closed end rather, we have 7.5 inches. It is just like 1 inches more than what you are measuring on the open end. I just hope you understand what I'm saying. So you're going to connect the lines. You see that the lines is actually giving you a slant. Yes, it's meant to be so that when you open it up, it will give you a straight line. Okay, so when you cut it out and you open it up, you have a straight line like this. Okay, so you have a straight line like this. So that is the main body of the bag. So I'm going to be using a two-faced letter to actually illustrate how to go about this bag. You can use any leather of choice. So since this is the body, I'm going to be drafting out two. This is first body and this is second body. So this fabric is actually a 2 inches fabric, that is the overlay. I cut it out at 2 inches by 20 inches, so that in case I have excess, I'm going to use the excess. I'm just going to cut off the excess instead of it to be short. So this green that you're seeing here is actually the handle, and then these other two green are the side adjustment. That one is the flap, and this one is going to be serving as the zipper side. So I'm using 10 inches by 2 inches. Okay, so since our top is actually kind of curved, we also need to curve our flap so that it will sit in perfectly inside the top of our bag. So in order to achieve accurate curve for our zipper, I am just going to be folding the two fabrics into two so that it will be equal. Then I am going to be placing the fold ends together, arranging it nicely. Okay, see the way I'm doing it, arranging it nicely. Then I'm going to be using my pen to draw it out like this. Then I'll cut off that line that I drew. So this way, when I want to sew it to the bag, it will come out very nicely, it will relax very nicely, and it will not look awkward inside. Because if the bag is not straight, so you have to do this in order to achieve accuracy for the zipper. So what I do for one is what I'm going to do for the second side of the zipper. So I'll just use my my biro to just draw the line, make sure it's equal, make sure it's accurate. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. that this is all our pieces that we need. Yes, the measurement for the strap is actually 20 inches by 1.5 inches in width. So this is just me measuring 2 inches from both end on the two handles strap. Then I am now going to start my stitches from that 2 inches. So I'll fold it like this, and I'll start my stitches from that 2 inches, and I will stop at that other 2 inches. So when you sew it, this is what it should actually look like. Now the next thing you're going to go ahead and do is to get the middle of the fabric. You know it's a two-faced leather, so you have to choose the place you want to be front. Then you are going to measure your placement for the handle. So I'm actually using 2 inches from the middle and 2.5 inches from the top. I was using 2 inches like this, but it was too high up, so I decided to use 2.5 inches from the top. Then I'll place it like this, then I'll go and give it a square stitch, do the same thing on this other side, and do the same thing on the second body of the bag as well. So when I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. So if your placements are right, it should not be bent, it should just look this right. So this is actually 2.5 inches by 6 inches for the flap. Okay, you can make alterations on the measurement, you can make yours smaller and you can make yours bigger. So before you sew it to the body, make sure you top stitch it and also give it a slight curve. Okay, you give it a slight curve on these two ends, then you sew it, then you now stop stitch it on the body of the bag. So this is what I mean. So this is what it will look like. So we are done with the body. Now we are going to be going to our zipper side. Make sure you create a stopper, then you place your leather and you sew. Since we are using a two-faced leather, we are going to be sewing it like this. So you make sure you stitch it twice so that it will not fall off. So after you are done with that, the next thing you're going to go ahead and do now is to get the middle of both the zipper and the body of the bag. Since the body of the bag is actually bigger than the zipper, so you have to do it like this, so that it will be as center as possible. Okay, so now this is the reason why we actually need to shape the zipper placement in the beginning of I was shaping it in the beginning of the video, because if you do not shape it now, you will not be able to sew it with ease. Like the shape, you see that the shape just complements each other. So if you do not shape it like that, you will not be able to sew it with ease and it will not relax like this. So you see that it's relaxed. So that's the reason why we actually had to shape the zipper placement. So after you're done with putting your zipper, the next thing you're going to go ahead and do now is to place this bottom part, okay, the overlay at the end of the bag. Now I am going to be cutting this into two. I'm going to dividing it into two so that it will be easy for me to use my super glue to place it on. Okay, so I'm going to be getting the middle, because say I cut it in oval, so we need to get the middle. So I'm going to be putting my super glue. This is actually optional, but in order to have clean work and accurate work, I would advise you do yours like this as well. So you go ahead and put your super glue and then you place it. So when you turn it to the other side, this is what it looks like. Now you go ahead and do the same thing on the second side. Make sure you're not make sure it is accurate. Okay, make sure it is not bigger than the other or too inward than the other. Okay, so you can always put it like this and place it on top each other like this to be sure that they are equal. So when you're sure that they are equal, now you go to your sewing machine and just give it a top stitch like this, so that everything will just stick in place. Now when you are done, the next thing you're going to go ahead and do now is to use your ruler to just create a slant like this to cut off the excess. So I'm just using my actual pattern from the beginning to check if the slant is actually accurate with the initial slant that I wanted to use for the body of the bag, and I saw that it was accurate, so I decided to use that to cut out the remaining parts of the bag. So I just hope you are understanding everything I've been saying so far, and I hope this tutorial is explanatory so far. You could actually try it out on a rough work, not actually on a direct leather, so that you'll be able to understand the errors, most especially the pattern drafting. Honestly, I had to draft out that pattern a lot of times, and this is actually the simplest and the simplest and straightforward pattern I could actually create. Other patterns were complicated. Other principles I used, other methods I used were actually complicated. But I finally, after a lot of comparison, I finally decided to share this particular pattern with you guys on how to draft out this shape, because to me it's actually the simplest of all the patterns I've actually created. Okay, so I hope it's as simple to you as well as it is simple to me. So I'm just using my super glue to get this on top each other. Then I'm going to go to my sewing machine and stitch it on both sides. Now when I'm done stitching, I'm going to repeat the same thing. Now you'll be wondering what I'm doing. The measurement is actually 1 inches, so I'm just measuring half inches so that I'll be placing the body on the middle. Like I wanted it to come out middle, like me the thing just the middle, make you be say where the thing just the one-sided. Okay, now on this other side, if you are not using a cylinder bed machine, I would advise you do it the way I do it now. I gone one side first, then I went and stitched, then I came back and used my super glue to start gumming the second side. It's kind of tricky, that's why you need to sew it the way I'm sewing it, so that your work will not be rough and your work will not what's it called, and your work will not crumble. Okay, so when you are done like this, now you are now going to go and sew the second side. Okay, so you just arrange it nicely, then you go and sew the second side. So this way you're going to be sewing the second side with so much ease. So as you can see, our bag is coming together already. The body is in place. Now we need to cover the bottom. So for the bottom, you could actually reduce this overlay that we have. If the opening you have on the button is actually too small for you, you could actually remove half inches. You could arrange it like this and remove half inches, but I decided not to remove anything. So when you arrange it nicely, I decided that the width I wanted to use to be 3 inches. So when I measured, I got 7 inches. So I am going to be removing 2 inches from the 7 inches, and I'm going to be cutting out a fabric of 5 by 3 inches. Now I folded it into 4. I'm actually using a cardboard paper here for the pattern drafting. Then I am going to be using something curvy to actually get the shape. Since it's oval, it's not round. If it was round, it would be easy to cut, but it's not round, it's oval. So when I place it inside, I realized it was actually too big. Now I am going to be folding it again to be cutting out the excess. So you too use the same principle when you are doing your own. Anything you get, remove. Decide how much the width you want for the bottom. Let's say for instance, when you measured your bottom, you had 10 inches, so and you want the bottom to be 4 inches wide, so you are going to be removing 3 inches from the measurements you get. Then you are going to be using it to cut out this cardboard paper. Then you keep shaping it till it actually fits. So when I was sure it was fit, then I went ahead to cut out a fabric. Then I'm going to be using my super glue to hold it in place before I go to my sewing machine and give it a round stitch. Okay, so if you do it this way, you are sure that you will get accuracy and your bag will come out as gorgeous as this. So this is the final look of the bag. You go ahead and put your zipper head, you put your fastener for the flap in order for it to relax, and that is basically everything about this tutorial. So I hope you understand. Even if you don't understand, feel free to drop your questions in the comment section and I am sure to attend to you. Having said that, thanks for watching and see you guys in my next class.